Good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in on again on the Engine Builder Show. On today's episode, Gabe will be talking about how to ensure you crush your sales goals every single month. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch your show and enjoy. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. Good morning, everyone. If you're tuning in live, happy Wednesday. Hopefully, you're having a great week. And for those of you that get to catch this later, appreciate you tuning in. And it just means a lot to me that you take time to watch and listen. And as always, if you have any questions, you can drop those in the comments down below under the videos, or you can always reach us at businessmarketingengine.com. We'd be glad to help you. And today, like Jethro said, I'm going to talk about how to ensure you crush your sales goals every month. And the reason that I bring this up and talk about it is I've worked with hundreds, probably thousands of entrepreneurs at this point over the last 20 plus years. And I think a really common challenge is that the sales, depending on what stage of business in, your sales can fluctuate a little bit. And I'll talk about those reasons a little bit today. And also just explain to you a really simple process that you can use that will help you crush your sales goals every single month. And help you continue to grow your revenue and make sure revenue is stable. And this definitely applies in my mind to the folks that are like doing under $500,000 a year. I know in that stage of business, it's typical that the owner, founder, CEO, the main entrepreneur is often the person doing a lot of the sales. Or maybe they have a partner, or they have, potentially one or two salespeople in, but often it's the founder, it's the CEO who's driving sales in that $500,000 and under mark. And so a lot of this is specifically talking about that kind of stage of business. But also, I want to say that this also applies when you've broken the $1 million mark, or when you're doing 2 or 3 million. And then, when you're scaling up towards that $10 million mark, there's a lot that still applies here. So the first thing that's always a reminder to myself and to everybody that I coach and work with is to remember to prospect every day. If you're not reaching out to new people, if you're not building new relationships, if you're not networking, if you're not getting out there and getting into the groups and the audiences and the segments of people that you can serve and help, if you're not doing that on a consistent daily basis, then you're going to have those spikes of revenue and those drop-offs. Whereas comparatively, if you just talk to 5 new people a day, then ultimately that's going to be a significant amount of opportunity and revenue that could be coming your way, simply by just being consistent and talking to new people every day. And instead of setting a massive goal that you do for a day or two, or that burns you out, like saying I'm going to talk to 50 people or 100 people a day or something astronomical, that's not always possible when we're growing a business and building a business and working on a bunch of things at once. While it may be possible for a dedicated salesperson, when you're in that entrepreneurial role, like I said, if you're founder, CEO, or moving things or building things up yourself, you have to operate the business. You're part of delivery. There's a lot of things going on, and so you may not be able to contact dozens or 100 people a day. But I find it rare when you can't carve out 15, 20, 30 minutes a day to contact 5 new people and prospect on 5 new folks. When you do that, if you're consistent with it, you're gonna have more opportunities come your way. And the consistent discipline of it is what fills the pipeline. It's not that you're going to be successful today necessarily. You may or may not, but you're not going to be successful every single day in having a conversation with your ideal prospect. But the continual habit of doing it on a daily basis is what's going to move the needle. And so that's really, really key. Like I said, when you're definitely under that $1 million a year mark, and especially under that $500,000 a year mark, is to set aside daily time to be prospecting. With that said, if you have broken the $1 million mark, if you're doing the 1, 2, 3, 5 million in that range, numbers, you still have the opportunity, especially as a founder and CEO, to prospect and bring in larger deals. My team sells a lot of things and brings in great work. I have the opportunity as a CEO to bring in larger deals and bigger opportunities because I have more knowledge, a bigger network, and just more experience. It's easier for me to close those types of things. So even though sales is not my only responsibility. It's still something that I can impact as the CEO and founder here. And so even if you're at that level, don't forget that you have massive power to move the needle, revenue and sales wise as well. But again, the key is prospect every day. Make sure that you are consistent in that and build a system that works for you. I talk about habit stacking all the time, and so I will use that again here. If you typically sit down, drink your first cup of coffee for the day, and you can stack in the habit of, oh, I'm going to send out 5 messages or do 5 quick cold calls or 5 emails. If you can stack that new habit into something that you do consistently every day anyway, then it's going to be easy to be consistent with it over time. It's going to be easier to kind of build in that new routine. So prospecting every day is key. If you don't do that, you have really sporadic, income, and it's going to be a challenge. The second thing is to create compelling offers. This is something that I've done over the years, but have not, honestly, until recently, realized that there's an actual formula and process and workflow you can go through to create compelling offers over and over. I've definitely created some really compelling offers that have sold like gangbusters over the years for ourselves and for our clients. But it was more trial and error than it had to be. Now, one of the things that myself and our team goes through from a training perspective is going through an offer creation formula that we can use for essentially any client, any of our products or services. And when you learn to really create that offer that is going to, draw people in and make them really interested and attract them to you, then sales becomes so much easier because you have such an aggressive and strong and positive offer that people feel like they'd be crazy not to try it. And so there's a lot there that we help our clients with. We can help them create offers that, again, will really convert, will get results. And it's something that I'm really proud because as a team, we're just leveling up and investing a ton in offer creation right now. And it's going to be really helpful for everybody that we're serving and helping right now. But in your case, just really pay attention to how strong, how compelling, how amazing can I make this offer? And obviously, any offer you make, you need to be able to deliver on from a back-end delivery standpoint, or from the products and services you actually deliver. But how you wrap that up, how you package it, how you talk about it is what's going to make your sales conversations easier when you are prospecting. And so that takes some testing and adjustment. You can test one way of presenting the offer to see if people like it. You can test another thing. You can add in bonuses. You can shorten the delivery time. There's a bunch of components in there that you can improve upon, but getting good at making offers is also a huge thing that's going to ultimately impact your sales. And the third thing, which is equally important, honestly, all three of these I think are just, three really key aspects that are really important. But the third thing is play the long game, and don't judge your sales success on what happens today as far as results, as far as how many things you closed or how many new appointments you got. Judge your sales success and what you're doing on the consistency of the effort that you put in and the consistency with which you show up. Because if you prospect and reach out to 5 new people a day and you do that consistently over time, even if you suck in the beginning, which I've sucked at sales and sucked at things in the past for sure, even if you suck in the beginning, if you are just super consistent and following through and doing that every day, there's a couple things that's going to happen. One is you'll get better at it, because if we keep practicing, we suck less and we'll learn new things and we can pick up new skills. You can get training, you can get outside perspective and support and feedback. And just the more that you keep doing it, the better you're going to get it. So consistency is what's going to make a huge difference there. The other thing in playing the long game is if you keep maintaining the relationships with the people you're talking to, you keep building your network, and you keep staying in front of them, they're going to trust you more, because all of us have probably, engaged with somebody in our life who was really hot on, selling this new thing they got involved with, or they made this new business offer, or they focused on this one area, but they only did it for a month or two, and then they stopped. And then in our mind, when we're reviewing somebody like that, it's easy and not completely inaccurate to say, oh, well, they weren't really into that, so I don't know if it was legitimate, or I don't think I would go to them for that service because they only did it for a couple of months, and so I don't really trust them. Even if we're not consciously thinking that, some of that is going on subconsciously. Whereas if we watch somebody that consistently, month over month, year over year, decade over decade, continues to show up consistently in serving their audience and in offering things of value, we trust that person significantly more. And so when we have that pain or that need or that struggle that we want to solve, they're the person that we would go to in order to solve our problem. And a friend of mine comes to mind, Amir Pazdarak, and I butcher last name, so hopefully I didn't pronounce his too wrong. But my friend Amir consistently, day in, day out, posts about how entrepreneurs can be fit and healthy, how, there's these lies in the health and fitness space of these things, these fad diets and these crazy things that you can try and do. He speaks out against that, and he continues to offer the truth about what really matters in your health and fitness. And he specifically serves the entrepreneurial crowd. I know he's helped a lot of other folks too over the years, I'm sure, but that's his focus and niche. And I've had Amir on my podcast, and for years now we've known each other, and consistently, day in, day out, he shows up with a message that's consistent. And so he's somebody that I would absolutely trust. I know friends that have gone and used his programs, and when I'm in a position where I want to level up even more from a health and fitness space or sense, there's no question that I would go, work with him because of his consistency. And so playing the long game is like that, building the relationship, showing up consistently with your messaging, what you offer, and that's going to make a huge difference. So again, the three things that will really just make a massive difference over time are prospecting every day. Make sure you set a reasonable, achievable goal that you can do on a daily basis and stick to it. The second thing is to really create compelling offers. If people aren't buying what you're offering, then your offer isn't strong enough, it's not attractive enough, it's not solving the right problems, or it's not presented in a way that makes people understand that it can solve their problems. And then the third thing is play the long game. We say our first guiding principle here at business marketing is relationships first, and that's because if we invest in relationships first, if we show up consistently, if we play the long game, then we're able to really serve people, and we can become a trusted resource to them when the time is right. And the more that you use these three things, and the more that you just have that long-term mindset, the easier sales get, and you'll have windfall weeks where you'll sell 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 in products and services if you just keep at it. But that's the snowball effect that comes into place when we continually do these three things. So hope that's useful and helpful for you. If you need help with figuring out creating the right offer that you can market, if you need help getting in front of your audience consistently on a daily and weekly basis, and if you just want to expand those that you can have the opportunity to prospect on, then that's something that our team can help you with. So just reach out, businessmarketingengine.com, or you can just leave a comment down below and we'll get back to you as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.